Kick back, have a sit, turn it up, get your fix. Time to upgrade, augment, but stay real, this the naked patient. Come by, the doc is in, you'll understand why it's good to be Nick. Like a tattoo, these words stick. All net, never throwing up bricks. Let's grow together through the weather, we can make a dent. Authentic people sharing stories, hope that it clicks. No need to dress it up, this is real as it gets. Let's strip it down, it's the naked patient, yeah.
Welcome to another edition of the Naked Patient podcast. With me today, the man, the myth, and the somewhat of a legend, Mr. Mark McCormack.
Thank you for having me on, Dr. Nicholas Howland.
Is this 3, 4? You're a repeat guest.
I'm a repeat guest. We're at least 3.
Yeah, I have a few repeat guests.
We might have recorded 4 because we trashed the first one.
We did trash that first one.
Yeah.
Haley's probably the most, just because every 5 or 6 she comes on and we do like a little Howland edition. And then we always put a question on social media, like what should we talk about? Yeah. And you always answer the same goddamn thing.
What is that, boobs?
Boobs.
Hey, if I'm nothing, I'm consistent.
And Haley's like, well, I guess Mark wants us to talk about boobs.
I'm just saying it kind of fits with you guys.
Listen, that's what I do. My shirt says you're the tits on the back of it today. This is kind of my job.
Dude, I was wearing that sweater I have. I got the crew neck one, kind of like this. And dude, it like hugs my neck so freaking tight. Makes me feel like a thumb.
Well, I can fix that.
So I want a hoodie. Okay. Or you can fix my neck.
Well, I talk to the guy and
I
make these shirts fit my friend Mark.
No, I'm just odd sized. I just got to pick the thing that makes sense.
The hoodies are good. I love the hoodie. We have a lot of friends with merch.
We do.
And we have a lot of friends that are very supportive of other people's merch. Mm-hmm. Nobody's as good as Michael McHenry at it, but
yeah, I don't even know when I sign up for his stuff. It just kind of comes every now and again. And then all of a sudden my credit card gets swiped. And
dude, this is my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing that happened with McHenry in this merch. And he will laugh at this. This is not a knock on him. This is just who he is. He's a consummate salesman. And he hit us up a year ago. He's like, guys, I got y'all down for like the new drop of my signature hoodie, mesh shorts, camo hat. They're dope. And he like sends us a picture. We're all like, dude, that's super awesome. We love it. Would love it. And so we all get this. And he's like, it's on its way to every one of you. And we all get this same box in the mail. And then at the same time, we all get an invoice for $150. And we're all like, oh, I mean, yes, we would have paid this anyway, regardless. But
no, it's the charm of him. I love it. And the thing is funny with that is that's probably his number one worn hoodie. When you say,
oh, for sure, the signature brand one,
and it's nice. He got the color right. I mean, it looks nice. That's the thing with merch. The key is to have your logo on someone and then them casually want to wear it. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, it's a fit kind of what they've got going on. The hat that we got out of there, though, is one of my favorite hats.
100%.
Yeah. It just fits my head really good. So I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. It's a dope trucker hat. You have some socks that I wear all the time.
I know. I love it when I see them.
And so, except there is a small problem with these socks.
Uh-huh.
It looks
my
like
podcast ones.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It looks like they say Trump.
Okay. Full disclosure. I voted for Trump. Send your hate mail to I don't give a shit at ADP. But I do not want my socks to say Trump on anyway. And it's because it's the President McCormack podcast. So it's TRMP, right?
TPMP.
Oh, TPMP, yeah. And when I first got them, because one of our buddies does the socks for us, Ty Irvin, and does a fantastic job. And people love them. Yeah. I love them. They're great.
Well, actually, I'll probably tag Ty Irving in here or something. His big Skylines socks or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Big Skylines. And he customizes a bunch of socks that we do. Mm-hmm. But it's even the same like font as the Trump like branding is. And so every time I wear these socks, my kids, Haley, people at the gym, Trump socks? No. President McCormack podcast.
I wonder if I bought 600 pairs of them. So I've given out probably 400 pairs of them. I've got like 200 left. But when I reorder those bad boys, they will.
You just got a box of these or what?
Oh, I've got 3 boxes of them. 4 boxes of them.
I need another pair.
Oh yeah, I'll give you many as you want.
Another pair.
Yeah.
I'll buy another pair from you. Just invoice me. Invoice me.
No. Nope.
I think there's something to be said though about friends who support other friends' endeavors by wearing their stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you the thing that I've got the most support on, people like the socks, but I have a hat that we got from our other friend Brent Skinner, and it just says McCormack Foundation on it. And I give those. So I have a foundation that me and my wife and my family have. Right, it's a private thing, but it's how we do our charitable donations to people. And that hat, I just give them out to people because it's kind of a marketing thing. It's part of the purpose of the foundation. And dude, I get tons of people tagging me in those things all the time, and they love them. Yeah, I give them to their kids, and
oh, that's cool.
And I love it because I feel like I'm giving a gift to somebody with no attachment. Right, I never say like tag me or post me or the only reason I'm giving you this hat is for this reason.
Yes.
And they just love to support, and it feels good.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about my surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So I got a couple questions. And
I thought you were keeping
kind of
this thing quiet.
What's that?
I thought you were keeping this thing quiet.
Oh yeah, I am.
Hey Nick, let's not talk about this. Hey, let's talk about some podcast.
Okay. When is this coming out?
Whenever you want. I'll probably need to release it probably next week. I'm a little behind.
Well, that's fine. Well, my surgery's on the 10th, so as long as it's after that.
We can do it after that.
Yeah, it releases after it.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, I'll probably do some sort of special thing with Haley that will release the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. In fact, that's what I'll do. I'm going to do like a little. I don't know if I won't have my kids this year. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Actually, it'd be kind of interesting to see if people listen to me on your podcast and see if they reach out. So I'm having, well, you can use the real words for it, but I'll use the layman words. Nick. So how I met Nick, roughly is your brother introduced us, right? Who's a friend of mine at the time.
Pioneer Day 2017.
Yeah, baby. And I basically pulled my shirt up once I found out you were a plastic surgeon. Said, can you fix this, make me look pretty? And you did. And part of that, I got a little bit of scar tissue left because I was a big case. I was probably 325 when we did it, something like that.
We just did liposuction at the time.
Just lipo, yeah. And so now that I've lost like 90 pounds and kind of got my body where I want it, we're going to go in there and kind of finish the job. That's kind of how I look at it. And so, and I'm actually very, very excited to come and do it.
Let's talk about, I actually don't think I've shared a lot of this, like your weight loss story journey on my podcast.
Okay.
Which will dovetail into the tattoo and all the, all the things. So first of all, when you came to me, you were not in super good shape. Mm-mm. And so we kind of had a conversation around like liposuction will definitely help. It's going to debulk you, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And we took 5 liters, which is the most I'll take. In fact, I think I took close to 6 liters, which is the most I'll take in a single sitting of liposuction. And I wasn't super thrilled with the results. It was definitely an improvement, but you were happy.
Yeah.
And so what then prompted a 90-pound weight loss after that?
The prompt of the 90-pound weight loss, it was in our men's group. We went up to Heber for one of our mastermind weekends. We call them ludices, if I use that word. And we were doing UFC fighting and military training. And I just had a moment where I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked at my eyes in the mirror. I wasn't looking at my body. And I just said to myself, it's not good enough, Mark. Like, you need to be healthy. Mm-hmm. You're, I think it was 41 or 2 at the time, 41, I think. And I just committed to myself in that moment. I was like, okay, I'm just going to be a healthy person now. Like I got to stop. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, all this kind of all the bull crap that is inside that world. I just wanted to be healthy. And I thought if I kind of started from that base, I have a better shot of maintaining that lifestyle. And I did. I pulled 90 pounds off of me in about, 9-10 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I've maintained it for almost a year.
Yeah. What was your routine?
So my routine is, just for full transparency with everybody. So for the first a month and a half, I was just eating 250 grams of protein and going to the gym every day. And then I added some trizipatide, which is a semaglutide, right?
It's a GLP-1.
GLP-1
medication.
And for me, and you can correct or kind of expand on this, but for me, it just kind of curbed my appetite. But I knew, especially from talking to you, that I had to like keep my protein up and really, I used it as a bridge to get to where my body was going to be really healthy.
Yeah.
And then I weaned myself off of it a long time ago, like 9-10 months ago, something like that. And it was kind of hard actually, because I had such a successful weight loss that I was like, oh crap, if I come off this, am I going to gain all this weight back? Because it happens to people. And did I actually do this right and all this kind of stuff? And then when the weight stayed off, I was extremely happy.
I'm really happy you're transparent with it, because I think, for as much as I rail against the way it's prescribed and against providers and how they prescribe it, you're my perfect example of somebody who did it the right way. Yeah. Like who took the medication the right way, but continued to maintain an adequate protein intake, continued to lift weights. And if you went and looked at a DEXA scan before and after, probably lost way more fat than you did muscle.
Yeah. In fact, I don't think I even lost any muscle till maybe the last 2 or 3 months, but I was also kind of going really hard just to get all the way down to my goal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't do a DEXA before I started losing weight, just because it's kind of a spur of the moment. I'm making this choice kind of thing. But once I did start doing the DEXA, I was just coming straight down, and my body does gain muscle pretty easily, and I'm actually very happy that in my 40s I can still kind of do that. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah. So
just to reiterate, you took a GLP-1 mm-hmm. and continued to work your ass off.
Yes, it's a supplement. It's an addition to what you're doing. It can't be what you're doing. Yeah,
and I think that is where so many people just fall short, because nobody wants to do the work. They want to take a pill. They want to take an injection. They want something to just make it happen for them. And
the thing with GLP-1s is they work.
For sure.
They will rip your appetite and just take it away. And so it's really easy to wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee and then don't eat anything all day. And you do start losing weight like crazy, but you're really burning. You've talked about this a lot, but like you're burning muscle way faster than you're burning fat.
Absolutely.
And you're really setting yourself up for late life failure, in my opinion, which is not a doctor's opinion.
Oh, it's a very true opinion. Yeah. You are going to see people dying of early hip fractures due to muscle wasting from GLP-1s, 100%.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I want to share an experience that we had just throughout, like during this, because I think for me, it was a powerful moment. So powerful that I have your face tattooed on my ass now.
How could I forget?
Because shortly after Heber, we were in Arizona with some friends of ours. Mm-hmm. And this was when Haley and I had our moon wedding. It was the first wedding of many with Haley and I. And I remember walking into the bathroom, and it was me, you, and our buddy Matt, and we all had our shirts off. And I'm looking at all of us, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I just go, dudes, we are not healthy. And now what you understand too is this is after I've lost 70 pounds from doing 75 hard and getting my life back in order. Like I wasn't like horribly overweight or obese anymore. I was actually like some of the lightest I had been in years. Yeah. However, I had lost a bunch of weight, but there was no muscle put on me. I was not in shape at all. You were pushing 350. Our buddy Matt was almost 300 pounds. And so Matt gets really excited. Matt's our British friend. We think, he tells us.
Yeah. Unconfirmed.
And so he gets very excited. He's got a Sharpie out and he's like, all right. I'm going to write on the mirror in a Sharpie everybody's goals for the rest of the year. And this is what, May? I think
June.
May, June.
Your British accent, by the way, is off the chart. Matt is British, not Australian.
All right. Mark, what do you want to be by the end of the year? And whoever doesn't meet their goal has to get a tattoo. That's more Australian than British?
Don't let me get in your head. Keep going.
So Matt's writing shit up on this mirror.
Yeah.
And I think you wanted to be under 300 pounds.
Yeah, my goal was, if I remember, I think it was 290.
Okay.
There's a pound I was going to get to, yeah.
And then Maddie wanted to get to like under 270 because that was going to allow him to skydive.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was 260 is what it was. He wanted to be under 260.
Correct. So he wanted to skydive when we were going to be in Phoenix the next year. Mm-hmm. And so me, being kind of a pompous asshole that I am sometimes, I'm like, you guys are idiots. Weight loss doesn't mean anything. It's all about body fat percentage.
Which is true.
And I just remember you just like stepping back, kind of folding your arms like, all right, Nick, what body fat percentage are you going to be? And I just confidently just go 12%, which I now realize is wildly difficult.
Yeah, we even tried to give Nick an out multiple times. Where I was like, bro, that's a goal.
That's a big swing. I'm like, put it on there. And Matt's like, I don't know. I'm like, put it up there.
So we did.
October rolls around. You guys are barreling towards your goals. Mm-hmm. And you guys are like, dude, if you can get to like 15, 16, 17%, we will call it.
Yeah.
I did not sniff those numbers.
No. I think kind of
I think
a
I was
funny
close to 20 at one point.
Were you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think what people don't realize, so they'll go to their local gym and they'll get like a pinch test sometimes, or they'll sit on one of those stupid like electro thingies that.
Oh, the in mode. Those,
in mode. They don't mean anything. The only reason those things are good is if you have a starting point and ending point, you're just watching your progress. But the actual information is not good. You have to go to a DEXA scan. Yeah. And when you go to a DEXA scan, it's true, right? It probably has like a 1 or 2% variance, right? Or something like that. Not percentage point, but like, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And if you're a very healthy muscular man, you could probably see your abs between 14 and 15%, definitely at 10, most and very high likely at 12. But to be that shredded, right? Like your body fat's way low, right? Really healthy adult men, you're fine at 18%, 16 to 18%, sure. And really as long as, if anyone cares, pretty much anything under 20, you're living a very healthy lifestyle, right? And so when you popped out at 12 and you were probably, what was your guess? What were you sitting at?
At the time I was sitting in 25, 26.
25, 26, yeah. And so I know not that I was a bodybuilder, but I was in those circles for a while when my wife was competing, losing 0.3 to 0.5% body fat a week is like really aggressive, getting 2% off in a month, and so, and we have 6 month launch pad on that. So it was kind of like, I'm like, oh man, Nick, you're gonna learn a lesson here.
Well, so I for sure learned it by not sniffing it.
Yeah.
And then what was interesting is I started in the fall training for this ultra marathon I did.
Yeah.
And it helped, like running a shit ton helped me lose some weight. And what was interesting though is as I started transitioning to just running, I stopped going to the gym. I stopped lifting weights. And after my ultra, which was in May, right before my wedding, we went on the honeymoon. We got married. We went on a honeymoon. I came back.
It's hard to keep these straight.
I know. This was a lot. I came back and I was the lightest I had been since high school. And my body fat percentage had gone the opposite way. I had gone to 29% because I was losing muscle. I wasn't lifting weights. I was losing muscle. I wasn't hitting my protein. And I've been really aggressively trying to change that since then.
Yeah.
And so in the last 12 weeks, I've gone from 29 to 24. I'm actually heavier now than I was when I started this whole journey a year ago. And my body is completely different. Like the entire composition has changed.
Yep.
From eating protein, lifting weights.
What muscle group do you think that you've grown the most in the last year?
Shoulders and chest.
Yeah, I would say shoulders for sure. I guess for me, it's probably most noticeable in your shoulders for sure. But like, yeah, I'd agree with you. What about your legs? Have you
Legs for sure too. Like
legs too?
I've always had strong legs, but now they're kind of like coming in defined.
Yeah, filling up a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, and I'm probably, to be fair, like when I get done with the surgery our surgery, my surgery, whatever you want to look at it, I will probably be the most fit I've ever been in my life. I am probably the healthiest I've ever been in my life right now. But aesthetically looking when I'm healed and everything, because it takes, what am I, 6 months out from being
No,
fully healed?
You'll feel back to yourself by 6 weeks.
Well, I know, but like all the way down, swelling all the way down, everything.
Yeah,
right?
like six months.
Yeah, about 6
I mean,
months.
technically you're healing for a whole year, but like you very little changes after 6 months.
Yeah.
So to go back to the story.
Oh yeah.
So you're getting me off track. I'm starting to make it about me. Sorry.
It was your podcast.
Weird. So I lose the bet. Walk me through the process of choosing, because the bet was like you guys got to pick a tattoo for me. For a long time, it was we were going to tattoo a dick somewhere.
What?
Or
No,
something.
No, Matt thought I was going to do that.
Something embarrassing.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be something. When we were making the bet, we were kind of throwing these things out. Matt was like, "Oh, you're going to put a dick on my forehead." And I'm like, I'll definitely put a dick on your ass cheeks if you want. But like, you know what I mean? But no, I mean, I find that hilarious. But at the same time, I understand that you are going to have this on your body for the rest of your life. So the goal was I think you had to weigh in by December 31st, right?
Yeah.
Like New Year's, right? You had to like do your thing. And, so we went on a cruise.
I should have sent a Dr. DEXA scan or something.
Yeah.
Did it.
I'd have been like rejected. But we go on this cruise like a couple weeks after that, if not the week after that, with all of our friends. And Matt and I, we do a formal night, and me and him just kind of take this picture where it looks like we're a couple, right? We're just kind of holding each other and looking. Well, you can see it every day.
It's a very prom-like photo.
And so then we had a Ludus, or one of our mastermind weekends in Temecula in February, right? Mm-hmm. So when we did that, I had a stamp made. I actually had 2 stamps made with that stupid picture of me and Matt. So I was going around stamping everybody with this picture. And during that weekend, I was just like, this is it. This is the tattoo. This is the thing that we got to put on him. And to be honest, and when I saw the stamp, I was like, and it's probably like, I don't know, 1.5 inches in diameter, from edge to edge. And I was like, okay, that's what we'll put on Nick. And when we went to get the tattoo, how big is this thing? It's got to be 5 inches across?
At least like 5 by 5. This thing is a quarter of my ass cheek.
Oh, yeah, if not half.
Maybe a third of the whole ass cheek.
Yeah. And one of the funniest parts was our other good buddy, Josh Sherwood. So when did we do this? We did it in May?
It was bachelor weekend. So
like a month out, though. It was like April or something?
Yeah, it was April.
Yeah, April. So we're all hanging out, and we go play golf and do all this kind of stuff. Then we go to the tattoo place to get your tattoo. And it was funny because Josh had left for a minute to go and grab some drinks or whatever the hell, blah, blah, blah. And they had put the stencil on you, and you were laying there on your stomach. And Josh comes in, and he like almost drops a bag. He's like, Mark. And I'm like, what? And he goes, it's huge. It's huge. And he's like trying to be kind of quiet. And I'm like, yeah, Nick wants it that big. And you like turn around and like, yeah, I wanted that big. And you turn around and it was just like, and I was on top holding your hand, like rubbing your back and stuff. And
we thought this was going to take 1.5 hours.
Oh, hell.
Tops, maybe 2. This was a 6-hour tattoo session.
We left you there.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember.
The other thing that was so funny too is, I paid him like $100 for the down payment or whatever, to book your thing. And we go to leave, and I can't remember if it was Matt or Josh was like, well, are we paying for this? I'm like, why the hell would we pay for this?
I lost the bet.
And they're like, oh, okay. Like you show up, like 7 hours later, and it's like, check it out. And it's like, I don't know. I know what you're going to say about this. I want to take that away from you, but I love it. I know it's not on me, but go ahead. Why do you love it?
You tell me why you love it. I'll give
because
my spill.
It's just, to me, it's a life scar that both of us have together. It's like we went through something. There's proof that we went through it. You know what I mean? It's almost like kind of like can't think of another good example, but say we were like zip lining together in Mexico and we both got a cut in our hand because of something, right? But we have like these identical things. I don't have that tattoo, but it is a me on you.
Yeah.
And all the people that hate it, leave them unnamed, right? Just makes it better. It's just a thing between me, you, and Matt. And it's a moment in time, it's enshrined, and I'll never forget it. I don't even have to ever see it again, and I will never forget it.
The only person, the one person who sees it more than anybody is Haley.
Right.
and Haley loves it.
Yes.
It's like her favorite thing in the world. I don't know if it's her favorite thing in the world, but she loves the tattoo. She loves it because of the reason I love it, which is, so we had a buddy of ours who was very against this tattoo. He tried to convince me to not do the tattoo. And he, in a very convincing argument, he's like, no, this is a stupid bet. You guys made a stupid bet. That's not a thing that you have to do. And my initial response to him was, I'm a man of my word. And so I am going to get this tattoo, which is part of it, 100%. And his response to that was, well, this silly, stupid bets like this, that doesn't really apply. I was like, well, for me, it does.
Yeah.
But number two, and the most important reason that I really got this tattoo is what it actually means to me. Like, that tattoo represents that moment that the three of us had together in that bathroom where I said, guys, we're not healthy. What are we going to do? And so this tattoo, and both you and Matt hit the goal and have maintained the goal. And I am 12% is not really on my list right now. I think 15 actually would be something I would like to see at some point in my 40s. And I'm working towards it right now pretty heavily. That tattoo represents a moment where we said we're betterness. And I really believe that bet saved our lives in a way. If not just added years to our lives, it at least did that.
No, that it is a moment where all three of us got better. And it did set a tone. When you're building friendships and you're building relationships with people, like there's moments that you need to have to kind of like hold you together. That's why men who go to war together, right? They're like lifelong friends. They go through something wildly traumatic, and you can recreate certain moments like that in your life if you're intentional and it means something to everybody. And if you put all three of us in the same room or separate rooms, that story would be told almost exactly the same.
It also sets the tone for our friendship that we expect each other to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I expect you to be the very best version of you.
Yeah.
And if I see you slipping, I will call you out.
Yeah.
And I expect the same from you.
Or help.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm pivoting on calling people out.
Fair. I like that.
That's just for me. But it's the exact same thing, right? Like if you need help in your life, I want to be there.
Yeah.
And if I recognize it, I will bring it to your awareness and help.
I will tell a joke on this podcast that still has me a little upset from my wife. So when they made this tattoo, your forehead is at
Not
least
accurate.
a 6 head.
Yes. And I'm a bald man, so it hurts.
It is massive.
Yeah.
It makes it very easy if I'm injecting testosterone to put the needle right in Mark's forehead. That's where I know my butt is. So Haley the other day is telling me, she made a comment earlier in the day. She's like, I really like the weight loss that you've been having recently, like this body composition change, because it makes your downstairs look bigger.
Yeah.
All right. Every guy likes to hear that from his wife.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a great thing to hear. Later in the day, she says, the weight loss in this body composition thing is making Mark's forehead look smaller. I don't know which of those things I like better.
I've never heard that. Are you serious?
Yes. I about punched a wall. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know which one you like better?
Haley, thank you, girl. You're my dog. You always be my dog.
Oh, that girl. So yeah, there's a couple bonuses of changing my body.
You know what we need to talk about right now, because this is
that?
very important for all mankind. Fire building.
Fire building?
Fire building. How important is fire building? Thank you.
Now
I'm like, what are you
I was
doing?
like, wait, what? Holy crap. These are vital stories to tell.
Okay, so I'm going to start this off, and I'm going to try and do it without swearing a lot. So, my wife and our friend Matt and Andrea, who we've been talking about, the other man who's on Nick's buttocks,
Matt Barre.
we rolled down to Under Canvas in Moab, which is basically like glamping, right? Like you're in these like gorgeous tents, and there's wood floors, and there's wood stoves, and there's all this kind of stuff. So we go back to the tent one night, and all the people there are super nice. They're very hippies, and it's just awesome, right? And this girl, I can't remember her name. I always call her Willow, but I actually think it might have been Willow. Anyways, very kind. And my wife goes, "Hey, I've called this girl to come start a fire." And I was like, "Don't call a freaking person to come start a fire. I can start a fire, you know?" So as I'm like on my stomach, because it's like this little stove, I'm getting this thing fired up. All of a sudden the tent zips, and she comes walking in, and I look up, and then I look over at my wife, and I'm like, "What are you?" And I kind of look at her like, "What are you doing?" And this girl, and she doesn't realize she's doing it, which is why it's even funnier. She starts patronizing me and telling me how good my fire is. And then she's like, "Oh, just push it to the back a little bit. You know, you did such a good job." And I got to look at Michelle. I go, "Why is she in here?" And my wife is like pulling the sheets over her face because she's in bed, right? And then when she left, it was the weirdest thing though, because what I realized is you can never accuse a man of not being able to start a fire. It's like in us. It's like a DNA thing.
He will lose his mind.
Losing my mind. And I was actually angry. I was angry my own wife didn't think I was good enough to start this fire. Fast forward a month or two.
Because it questions your manhood and
To
your
the
core of who you are as a man.
I can kill things if I want. I can pick up heavy things. And I can start a fire.
Dude, this was completely unplanned and unrealized. I had heard this story, obviously, because we were laughing our asses off about this story. And about a month later, Haley and I go down to Bryce Canyon for the ultra marathon that I'm running. And the first night we decided we went down a day early so we could just kind of get there, relax, prepare, like get ready for this big deal. And so the first night we stayed at Under Canvas in Bryce Canyon, just Haley and I. The next 2 nights we stayed in a cabin closer to the race.
Yeah.
But we wanted to stay in Under Canvas one night, and Haley had never been there. I've stayed at Under Canvas in Glacier National Park. I've stayed there in Zions. I love their properties. I think they do a fabulous job. So Haley and I go and we stay there, and unplanned have an almost very similar experience where I go to this little stove. It's freezing cold outside. And so I start making a fire. And I am a GD Eagle Scout, okay? Like, I don't need matches to start you a fire. You give me a flint rock and some freaking chutzpah, and I will make you a fire. And so I build this incredible, amazing fire, much to my wife's surprise, who the whole time is standing behind me asking if I know what I'm doing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just like, bitch, you better get in bed, sit down, don't question what I am doing here. The next thing I know, fire alarm starts going off in our tent. I didn't even know there was a fire alarm in the tent, okay? I had not properly opened the flue all of the way for this stupid stove. So there's smoke just filling our tent. And the tent is like, it's like a big canvas covered tent, Under Canvas.
Yeah, what would you say, like 8 feet in the middle? 9?
No, because like 8 feet I could like reach up and touch with my fingers. It was probably 10-foot ceiling or so.
Yeah, it might have been 10, yeah.
And so This damn.
Do you like how we were just looking up? We're both just like, there's somewhere in here, this most man thing of all time. Yeah, right in here.
Yeah, right
10 feet.
This damn fire alarm is just out of my reach. And I am like, I get a chair and I'm trying to like carefully lean up and balance on this chair. And it's still like just out of reach of my fingertips. And my wife looks at me and says, "Get on my shoulders." I'm already demasculated a little bit from, do you know what you're doing with the fire? And I just go, "Get on your shoulders? You get on my shoulders, woman." And she then, thinking she's funny, says, "If Mark were here, he could probably reach that fire, that smoke alarm."
Just so you guys know, there's no chance now they could ever get divorced because they went through the hardest part of their marriage that evening.
So I just about lost it. We got this thing turned off. All is calm. The smoke is out of the room. I still am seething with anger because every part of my manhood has been questioned. And we get in bed and Haley just goes, "Oh, I forgot my water bottle in the car." And I look at her, I'm like, "Well, I guess you better go get it. You're so independent." And I refused. And she went and hoofed it herself to get this water bottle, knowing she deserved this.
Yes.
And I very quickly am getting on Marco Polo or something to tell you guys this bullshit story.
Oh, dude.
Don't ever question a man and his ability to start a fire.
No. And by the way, if your man can't start a fire, that's it.
Check your card.
Check your card. Dude, we laugh about this, and I hope the listeners are loving it as much as us. And if you're not, whatever. It's a thing. We brought this up with like a bunch of our guy friends, right? Because we're in a men's group, and you know we have access to a lot of dudes whenever we want. And
that is going to be the ad for the next ad. We're in a men's group. We have access to a lot of dudes whenever we want.
It's true. And, you know, the more you talk about this, it like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you don't even know why. You almost want to grab a club and go kill something and drag it back and show it to your wife. Like, "Hey, check it. Cool. I kill things." That's what makes life good. That's just another moment.
It is. I actually like just sitting here talking about both of those stories are two of my favorite stories in the world. And I've never told them on the podcast.
Good.
But we talk about them a lot, or we share them with our friends a lot. And so I'm glad that you came on here and we relived them a little bit on the podcast. I want to pivot a little bit. Well, we'll stick with this topic of friendship, but we're coming to the end of Watt here. Thank God.
Yep.
That sounded bad. I love Watt. I am so grateful for what Watt has given me. I also am at a point now where I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to take the things that I've learned and see what is next.
Yeah. Yeah. Watt is a 2.5 year, the leadership portion of it's a 2.5 year long commitment, and we committed and we did it.
100%.
You know, and like all coaching groups, right? They are a launching pad for the rest of your life. They are not I don't know what you want to call it, religion you sit in for the rest of your life, right? Like there's a time and a season for it, and it should launch you into the next section of your life. And I think us and most of the people we know in our men's group, we're ready to be launched. Let's go. So and that's why that sentiment is like, yeah, we're coming to the end of this, and it's great, and we did it, but it's time to move.
What do you see yourself doing next?
That's funny. I've been thinking about that a lot this week, actually. My self-improvement will come over the next foreseeable future from applying everything that I learned and relearned in Watt. Mm-hmm. A little off the cuff, so I might sound a little scatterbrained, but I'm going to really pour into my family. My kids are about to crest into the portion of their life that I've planned that I'm going to be very influential. So my 15-year-old daughter will turn 16 next year. She will then start coming to work with me. She'll be in a concurrent enrollment program at the U. And so she'll actually do school in the morning online and then work with me all day. And so I'm hitting a phase in my life where I'm going to become less social and actually just really pour into my kids and get them to, a very good place where they're a contributing member of society.
Mm. I like that.
Thank you.
I don't know where I wanted to go with that.
No, but yeah, I mean,
outside of family, what else?
I'm consolidating down a lot of the business stuff that I do, not to go into that smorgasbord of webs, but I need to simplify my life. And really, from our experience recently, I want peace in my life. I want peace with everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm in a business position where I'm in lawsuits constantly, and I deal with fires a lot, and I've just kind of come to the realization where it's like I've done my fighting. I've had a 20-year long career of building and grinding and pushing and being the leader and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm at a point where I want to prep things to sell and then move to the next phase of my life where I'm going to basically consult a lot and then mentor a lot. Yeah. And my kids come number one in there.
Yeah. It's funny. Like that's very similar to what I'm feeling myself. Career-wise, mine is still growing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm still building. I'm still creating a practice that I love and that I will hopefully leave better than it was when I started it. Yeah. But everything else has been learning to like a really strong pull and push to just focus on what's important. And the things that are most important are the immediate family, my kids, my wife, my own siblings and family, and my chosen family friends around me. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like I just,
we had a conversation recently where you said something along the lines of like, I just want to do more things with my kids. And it really hit me. And when I say things hit me, they stick with me. Because I listen to things and I kind of like, oh, I kind of like that. And then the more I think about it is when it actually hits me, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought, our two sons are like really good friends. And, well, my youngest daughter and your older daughter, but your only daughter are like, Isabel's 17 and my daughter's 9, and they freaking get along like they're best friends. I can't even tell you how much respect and love I have for Isabel, just for her, just being kind to her. And the cool thing is Isabel just actually likes her.
She does.
It's not like a babysitting thing or anything like that. Like she really does like her, and she's very kind. And hopefully Isabel listens to all your podcasts, or especially this one. But I don't know. She just earned a special place in my heart for her kindness.
She is such a kind person. This is a weird little memory on the podcast. So I've been out of the LDS church, obviously twice. We talk about that a lot, apparently. Yeah. And from a religious perspective, I don't align my own beliefs with the LDS faith much at all. Like I even had a conversation with my former mother-in-law the other week where she was like, she said, I would never say that you weren't Christian. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm not actually Christian. I don't consider myself that at all. Yeah. And so and I tell you that story, to kind of highlight where I'm at. And so I'm very far removed from that ideology. The one thing though that will never ever leave me is when you're in the LDS faith, one of the things you do is you give your kids a name and a blessing when they're born. And I still to this day remember the biggest impression when I was giving Isabel's name and blessing to bless her with kindness. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was the only thing that I knew this girl will have. And it's almost it's a hard thing sometimes to reconcile when you're like, I don't believe in this religion anymore, but holy shit, that was a miracle. Yeah. Like that moment was real. Mm-hmm. And she is somebody who has always exuded kindness for the people around her, for the people in her life, and for the people that know her. She is one of the kindest people I know.
Yeah. No, she really is. And she's also a beautiful girl, and she's got such a life ahead of her that's going to be just fun to watch. And I hope that I can be, a participant all the way to maybe even just watching.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of potential and coming up. Yeah, I'm excited for her.
Me too. I can't wait to see what comes for her. We're going to her showcase tonight, watch some cheer.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I've watched Isabel cheer 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, something like that. Yeah, it's really fun, man. One of the first times she actually took Harper and what do you call that? They were teaching little kids how to cheer, and then they brought them out of the field with them or something.
Yeah, they do this like little mini cheer camp for them, and then let them participate at one of the games.
Yeah.
And Harper loved it.
Oh, loves it. Harper's actually a very quiet person. I don't know if you've kind of caught that with her, right? She's very subtle, which I love that. And the way that she looks at Isabel and is just excited to be around her, and also a little shy at the very beginning, it's just such a special, I don't know, it's just such a special thing. I just love watching it and just watching those two kind of jam.
So yeah, man, those are the kinds of things that I want to do more of in my life. And it's funny because I've always been a yes man. Like if you read the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, that was me to a T, which was great and it served me to a point, but it also has gotten me in trouble in my life where I did not know how to create strong boundaries around my own time and around the time of the people who are most important. And so I have oftentimes found myself just spread wildly thin, thinking that I'm meeting everybody's needs when in fact I'm failing to meet the needs of those who are the most important.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Haley just not even a week ago, and she's just like, baby, this is a recurring conversation we have every now and then, which is we're spread too thin. We're saying yes to too much. We got to pull back. And for me, it was hard because I'm like, well, yes, and I want to be able to do this, and this with these people. I want to be able to give my time and my love and my energy to these people as well. And I want to also do this with the kids. And I didn't know how I was going to weed out what was most important. And I had an experience this weekend where I just realized it's the things that need more are the most important things in the world. And for me, it was the number one thing was my kids. And that became the easiest boundary for me to be able to say no to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody can call me up and say, hey man, we'd really like to go to dinner with you guys. And for a long time, it was really hard for me to okay, yeah, let's juggle it in. We're free in a couple weeks, or let's put you here. And all of a sudden I'm just like, holy shit, you know how easy it is to just say, hey, we'd love to. We care about you guys. Right now, our kids need us more. Boom.
Done.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
It's also one of those things, too, if they understand that, they should. And if they don't understand that,
probably don't need them in my life anyway.
Don't need to use, yeah, exactly. Don't need to go to dinner with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a very loud response to where I want to take my life right now.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I was talking to someone from my past the last 2 days, and we have very different perspectives of our relationship with each other. And this person is someone who I've written off many times in my life. And it was interesting talking to them and kind of making peace. I actually made peace this morning when I was at the gym. And this person's mad at me, just to make this not too broad. And I realized that it's like, I said to this person in there, I said, listen, you got one life at this. You got one chance at this life. And there's probably nothing at the end. Now, that's my own personal belief. So you got to live every day like you really do. You have to live every day intentionally the way that you want to live it, or you'll regret it. And if you don't, if you do live your life intentional, you'll not regret anything. There's very few things in my life that I regret. I kind of got that right a little earlier on in my life. Not that I'm perfect, but and I've gotten better at doing that for sure. But it's just so important to be just so intentional with that, right? And like it's one of those things, right? If I say, hey Nick, I want to hang out with you tonight, and you're like, hey, I'm hanging out with my kids in my house, I'm just gonna go, may I come over?
Yeah.
And most likely I'm assuming you'll say yes, and if you don't, whatever, but like, yeah, I mean, I just show up. But it's like, great, you're hanging with your kids, cool. I want to be with your kids.
Yeah.
You know, like we're going to a fancy dinner, great, bring them.
Yeah.
You know, I want them around. I love having your kids around. I love having my kids interact with your kids. It's the way it's supposed to be to me.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
This was fun.
This was fun. How long have we been going for? About an hour?
Yeah, it's about an hour there.
Nice.
Oh, we got more long. We got more time, don't we? We do have more time.
You can go as long as you want.
So Watt's coming to an end. We talked a little bit about friendship. We talked about that. What else? What are you excited for?
I'm excited to move my career into consulting. Actually, I actually think it's where I'm best.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very fortunate with some of the opportunities in my life that have come up early in my life. I was the president of one of the companies I own at 25, 26, and was kind of thrown into the deep end with that. And as I've learned and made mistakes and learned from them and done really well in certain areas and gotten better and better and better, I just have this easy ability to come in and affect change into certain companies really quickly. And it's mostly because smaller companies are started by a founder and they're just gritty and they move, right? And then it doesn't matter what happens, they're just going to keep on moving, right? And there's not a lot of time when you're building the first 2 years to learn how to run a business. And so if you have a trusted friend come in and they can just be like, hey man, let's do it this way. You know, like the insurance like this, you know, you got to make sure this is unnecessary. You know, your marketing needs to be a lot more, you know, centered to this or whatever, right? And just kind of like pivot them into growth and then get out of there, right? Like it's kind of like counseling, right? Like you need to have your counselor for a period of time and then it needs to end, right? And then you need to accomplish things in there. And I love that. I love that I'm not going to be tied to a business for the ethos of the whole thing, right? I just want to come in, help people, really help them, and then move on to the next project. Yeah. And then what I really want to do is maintain the gratitude between both of us. Because, you know, when you consult and you get paid for it, right? Like, you know, you're having a service and a good pass, right? But like really what I want to do is help someone's business so much that they're just grateful that I was there, no matter what it cost.
Yeah. I just had lost my mind. Fuck, Nick, you're gonna have to cut this part out. I literally had something where I was going with that and fuck, where was I going with that?
You're okay. Take a pause.
Yeah, we're just taking a little pause here for a second. Jesus. What are the most difficult things about creating that transition for you? Like, what is going to be the most difficult part about moving? Like, that is exciting. What is going to be the hardest part about it?
I'm probably going to give you an answer here that you'll only hear from me one time in my life because this will happen to me one time and I'll fix it. It's going to be the imposter syndrome that I will feel when I start marketing myself as a consultant. And the reason why is because I think it's very, very natural for anybody, even if you're very prepared for something, when you actually go to do it the first time, training wheels off, what you say matters, there is a little bit of imposter syndrome that you have to fight. And that will be the hardest part because I want to help. That's really what I want to do. I really want to help. And so, you got to get that voice out of your head where it's like, well, maybe, what if you screw this up? Or what if you give them bad advice? Or, you know, like, what if they don't listen to you? Or, you know, whatever, right? You just got to be like, it doesn't matter. I'm confident in what I do. I'm confident in what I know. And we'll just look at the data. And we'll just drive the numbers. Because
it sounds a lot like my very first surgery.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. Yeah. I would be shocked if you said otherwise, right? Because it's like you train under someone and you probably trained under someone for a long time, right? Like years and years.
6 years. And
then all of a sudden one day it's like, all right, dude, go do it.
Yeah.
And it's just you.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is terrifying. That first, so 6 years of training, you feel ready. You feel like you know the things, you've passed the tests. But you've always had a faculty member who the real responsibility falls onto if something goes south.
Yeah.
And then that first case where it's just you, if this person dies, it's me. If something doesn't look right, it's me. If this happens, it's me. Like, that's a lot. And yeah, you feel that weight and the pressure.
Yeah.
And you have to just rely on what you know, like you said, and just do what you're best at.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, I was going to say selling my companies, but that's actually not going to be hard. That's a process. That's a pain in the ass. But, because the negotiations when you sell a company are wildly complex. Do you stay on? Do you not stay on? Do you have a performance kicker at the end? Do you not? Do you want just cash and get the hell out of there? You know what I mean? And then you also have, actually, here's another one. It's probably as equal. When I actually sell those companies and I leave those employees, I mean, I've got employees that are 20 years with me.
Yeah.
Right. I've retired employees. The thing about me taking over my parents' company and then buying it from them is, I started working there at 8 years old. I mean, I'm one of the first people I worked with right now is like 85, right? He's known me through all my bleached hair years and mission and coming home and then becoming his boss, which was weird, But I have a deep love for almost every employee that's ever worked for me. And that love is variable to each individual person and what we've done together. But there's a loyalty when you're an employer to your employees that's almost unspoken. And losing some of that daily interaction is going to be it's going to be hard because I'm going to miss them. It's going to be emotionally in my heart hard.
What do you think Michelle's going to do as these kids transition into these older phases?
Ooh, spend more time with me. Yeah. We actually talk about this at a decent clip, maybe once a quarter, something like that, or whenever. We are very interested in being very involved in our children's life to the day we die. Sure. And so, we're not doing the whole we're the grandparents, you come visit us bullcrap. I actually want to. My plan, and we'll see what happens. I want each one of my kids to live in a home that's big enough that they can host the entire family, and then I want to live in a 2-bedroom condo. I just want to consolidate all the way down, and then every morning I want to get up, go to the gym, and go to one of my kids' houses with Michelle. That's kind of the plan. And then travel and do some other stuff for us too. But like I want to set my life up where I can just do whatever the freak I want to do, and that's what we currently want to do. But 10 years ago, I would have said something along the lines of like, well, Michelle will come work with me and we'll just be this husband and wife duo, right? But fortunately, that's unnecessary at this stage. And so when I'm done with all the businesses and all that kind of stuff, I just want to spend almost every waking moment with her, and we'll not make up for lost time, but I'll just soak as much of her up as I can.
Just enjoy each other.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest factor, do you think, that's sustained you guys for 20 plus years?
The biggest factor. We have a very high commitment level to each other. We have an almost immediate forgiveness that we've granted to each other. And I think in my heart of hearts, when I look at her, from the second I fell in love with her, I wanted what's best for her. And when you combine some of those things and, some life experience and watching her be a mom and just gaining more and more respect for her, I think inside of Michelle and I's relationship, we say we love each other a lot. We actually respect each other a lot. Respect is actually a more powerful motivator between us than love. Just because love kind of gets thrown around a lot, and it's and love and respect are actually not. They're very close. They're brother and sister, But I think to answer your question as detailed as I can, I respect her.
Thank you for your example to me.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
We have another couple friend of ours, the Akanos, who have also been married 20 plus years. And I've said this before in this podcast and to a lot of friends, but it is not an accident that Haley and I's very best friends are all very close couples who have been married for a long, long time because that was what we wanted.
Yeah.
And the whole mantra of like, you're the 5 people that you are surround yourself with the most. I sure fucking hope so.
I like, and that is a massive compliment. And you've actually paid me that compliment many, many, many times with my marriage. My marriage is the most important thing to me. And then my kids are a very, very close second. And then my friends are a very close third. And then after that, whatever.
It was kind of funny because so the Iconos, Jerem and Jesse, we were talking to them, and I said something similar to them about that, and he's like, "Man, I just love that, Jesse and I had to take this like big arc to like where we're at today, and we had to go through all these different iterations of ourselves and all of that, and you guys have just done this straight beeline." And I'm like, well. Hold on, there was a whole lot of this for years before Haley and I even found each other and started dating. And also, this does not happen by accident. And this does, just to make an analogy with the same thing we talked about with the GLP-1s and working out and exercise, like you have to have discipline in your relationship to make it work.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to eat your protein and lift your weights every day. You have to communicate with your spouse and talk to your spouse and work through the shit every single day. Or else it doesn't work.
Yep. You'll start fading. Mm-hmm. I was kind of talking about respect earlier and people go, divorce happens for all sorts of different reasons, but the actual reason is you lose respect for each other. Mm-hmm. Right. So if a partner cheats on you, that might be a very easy way to lose respect. Right. But the number one factor that people get divorced over is actually money. Mm. And when I'm like, why would people do that? It's such a fixed thing, right? You make X amount every month, you spend X amount, you invest whatever, right? It's kind of like you can't really change it all that much. Right. And what I realized was it's like, oh no, what happens is one of the partners starts spending money. And then the other one's like, well, I should spend some money too. And then they start creating money problems because they don't respect each other enough to like either budget or discuss it or not want to hurt themselves financially. It's just one other way that people start doing that, Well,
respect's wildly involved in there, right? You've got either one who doesn't make enough, and so the other person doesn't respect them because they don't bring in enough income.
Yeah.
Or you've got one who overspends and can't budget, and that's, in my mind, just enough reason, just as good a reason to lose respect over somebody. Oh, you can't control your impulses to not go buy a $600 purse. Like that's, I don't respect that impulse, lack of impulse control.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But if I was to give advice to people out there, I actually said this today to one of our friends at a Marco Polo. You do not find a soulmate. Doesn't exist. You don't have a magical match out there somewhere. You find someone that you're attracted to on every level, physical, emotional, mental, and then you build a soulmate.
Yeah.
Together.
100%.
Every day.
Every single day.
Every single motherfucking day.
It is. Dude, like, and if you're doing it right, it should feel like if you're doing it the right way and you've got a day or two where things get out of control, right? You just get too busy, you don't get the time for each other. You should feel that.
Yeah.
You should feel like, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to talk to my person for a day or two because it's just been too discombobulated.
Yeah.
Like if you're going weeks without really having a good come together communication with your partner, that's something to address. You're not working hard enough.
You should feel off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll tell you another thing. You brought this up, and I kind of want to shine some light back on it too. You want to have a strong marriage, you need to have at least 2 wildly strong marriages that you are connected to all the time. And if you can get up to 5, good for you. Because when you and your wife have a falling out or something's going on or you're hitting that bumpy spot and you go to one of your married friends, right? That dude will correct you properly.
Yeah.
You go to a single friend, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And there's nothing against our single friends that we have. And I have some single friends that I love and adore, but also if that's all I'm hanging out with, right? If I've got my marriage and then just some single dudes who are still trying to figure it out, and I am in a bind or a struggle, like they don't know how to help me.
No, and you're most likely going to get bad advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's wildly important. And that is absolutely why we've surrounded ourselves with the people we surround ourselves with.
And I'll give a little clue out there. If I were to go to you and say, Michelle's pissing me off and blah, 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 blah. The advice that you should give me is like, yeah, man, marriage can get hard. Okay, you got that out of your system? Get your ass home and apologize to her and fix it now.
Yeah.
That's the advice.
Yeah.
So if your friends say anything other than that, don't take that advice.
Yeah.
Because your person is the most important thing.
Exactly. So your single buddy is like, oh, totally get it, bro. Look, come on over. Let's drink and play some video games.
No. You can go to your friend. He'll listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's she'll listen to you. But she's gonna point you the right direction the second you're done having your little pity party.
Yes.
And that's what I want. That's actually what I need. And the cool thing too is if you can be that person for somebody, right? They'll love you to the end of the earth because you'll actually give them the advice that makes their life happier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Now I think we can wrap this thing up.
Let's go eat.
I got one more.
Oh, you have one more today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You already told me that. Gosh darn it.
I know. And then I got to go to cheer. I'm going to be a cheer daddy.
That's cool. I'll go home.
I left today, told my staff, I'm like, well, I got to go, guys. I'm a cheer daddy tonight. They're just like, don't say that.
Cheer daddy.
Like, too bad.
Cheers, Zaddy.
Cheers, Zaddy.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, Mr. Nicholas Howland.
Dude, thanks for coming on. As people know, this is my absolute very best friend in the world, Mr. Mark McCormack, who I love with all my heart, who you should follow, listen to, like, subscribe him, or just follow him on my ass, whatever you guys want to do.
If you see me, tell me hi.
Give him a little tap hello.
I will. I love that. Even if you're a total stranger. All right. Thank you, doctor.
Thanks, sir, doctor.
Thank you so much for listening to The Naked Patient Beyond the Operating Room. I'm Dr. Nicholas Howland. Please remember that every patient who appears on this podcast has consented to discuss their story and their surgery on the podcast. That way we remain HIPAA compliant. This is a free podcast. The best thing that you can do for us is to leave us a review online. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what you'd like to hear. Let us know how we can improve. If you are curious about anything related to plastic surgery, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Dr. Nicholas Howland, and I typically respond there, or you can reach us at the office at 801-571-2020, or we have an online form you can fill out at the website, www.howlandplasticsurgery.com. Any of our coordinators would be happy to help you. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Naked Patient Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. Till next time.